G'day fellas, and welcome to something a little bit different. I got a couple messages after the last video I posted showing you guys my new build order. And so I decided, you know what? Let's take it to the ladder. Let's go up against somebody who's actually decent. We're going up against DeMusliM here with the brand new build order for the Ottomans. This is my, I guess you'd call it the Mongol build order for the Ottomans, and going up against Liquid DeMusliM, who, I mean, if you don't know who this guy is, you've been sleeping under a rock, but this guy's one of the best players in the world. So the way this video is going to work, you're looking at a first-person perspective of me playing the game right now. Well, when I say right now, it's not really right now. It was a while ago. And then we're going to switch in about 5 minutes. We'll switch just to a replay so that we'll be able to actually talk a little bit more about that game. But this is the Ottoman Mongol build order up against one of the world's best players. And I just want to sort of throw this out here because obviously I'm not the best player. You know, I think if I practiced a little bit more, I could probably be pretty decent. I don't know if I'd qualify for the Walla Lol, but I reckon I'd be able to hold my own. Let's just put it that way. But you can see already just some early macro mistakes coming out from me. You know, the nerves are hitting me. I'm up against the big boy, the DeMusliM, which, by the way, I'll leave a link in the description over towards his Twitch page where you can catch him live. He was actually streaming when we were playing. I saw him in queue and I said, I'm going to snipe him. I'm just going to see if I can actually get him because I would like to have a challenge. I'd like to play against somebody who's quite decent. So the matchup that we've got here is a Malian matchup, which is actually... typically, you would say it's not a good matchup, the Ottomans against the Malians, but I think with the build order that I'm doing, it's actually a pretty good build order, or a pretty good matchup for us. We've got a relatively good scouting path as well because we've got a break down here. It is, of course, Altai. I don't know about you guys, but on the pup, every single ranked game I'm getting is on Altai. I'm not even kidding you. I've played, I think, 15 or 16 ranked games, and 9 of them have been on Altai. I've had 3 on the pit, 3 on, what was the other map? On that map, Hideout, and then 1 on Lipany. It's crazy. I need to start banning Altai, because it's all I'm getting. It's crazy. But anyway, dropping down the racks now, and everything just going standard at the beginning here. So we've just done a nice little loop around our base, just made sure that we picked up enough sheep to just last us until our landmark comes up. And of course, we've got a great spot here for it as well with the landmark. We'll put it right next to the deer patch. Which is, I guess it's now the Altai special, isn't it? Because the whole building acts as a mill. It's like a giant, it's essentially a town center. It's a huge drop-off point. So we're going to make sure we get our sheep back there. We're going to go look to scout his base. Now, the key here is that we want to find his gold mine because we know that there's going to be good stuff on that gold mine. Get a couple spearmen in queue, and we're good to go at this point. So first spearmen going to be coming out across the map. And we're a little bit behind at this point in time, mainly just because of the beginning where I kind of messed around. If you go back and have a look, I messed around with the villagers in the town center, and I kind of stuffed around anyway the stone mine. So we're probably behind by about 10 seconds at the moment in the build order. We spot the town center. We see the stone at the front. This is a good sign. So for me, my thinking is I'm just going to camp the stone as well. So I'm not going to camp it with all my spearmen, but I'll camp it with like my 4th or my 5th spearmen. And so I'll just rally in my buildings into that position, make it so that if he is on stone, not only am I going to know about it, but I'm going to begin harassing those villagers. First spearmen making their way in, and we do spot that gold mine. Now, take a look at this gold mine. This is actually one of the most ludicrous gold mines you will ever see. It's a double banger, and the Malians are the only civ that can take advantage of this. And the reason why is because, and I'll show you once we get into the replay, but this is actually insane. It makes his... essentially what he's got down here is the potential to have the equivalent of 4 pit mines when technically there's only 2. And I'll explain how that works once we get over to it. But we begin working away on the first of the houses, and we see that he's already aging up. So quite an early age up coming through from him. You can see he's about 66, 70% on the way through on that age up. We're dropping down the lumber camp at the moment, just sticking to that build order, trying our best to at least. We're going to be a little bit late on the age up, just because, as I mentioned, we were a little bit behind, unfortunately, with our early macro. Things weren't as nice as they could have been, but we get our first house. We get the second house as well, so we get a nice little thing. And now we're going to be forcing the response out. You know, often we talk about forcing a response, forcing your enemy to do something that they don't want to do. So what doesn't he want to do? He doesn't want to have to make units here. Guess what? We're going to make him make units because there's just too many spears here. He can't deal with this. You know, if you bring out a single villager and repair it, you know, you might be able to get a couple repair points in, might be able to draw the spear back to the TC, kill it with the TC, that sort of thing, but it's not even possible here. There's just too many spears. And now you can see we are moving forward with scouting and trying to spot out exactly what he's up to. We're going to drop down our landmark as well. We're at 4 minutes 30 into the game, and you can see we are actually guarding that stone up towards the north, because I say, all right, well, you know, if he's not gathering the gold or not going for some sort of fast castle, he's got to be going for that town center, right? Like that's got to be it. Now we enter into our transition period. I'm actually gonna put an extra villager here on food, just so I can get a couple more Spahis in. And now we do see the first archer coming out, and I'm gonna pause the VOD, and we're actually just gonna switch now into the actual the replay. So you can see right now that we've got the replay down here, or rather, we've got the action down here, and we'll be able to go into his perspective now. You can obviously see up in the corner the length of the game. There's no hiding that one. But he forces, or he gets 2 archers out. So we see a third one coming through as well. So what's so good about these 2 gold mines next to each other? So you can't actually see it, but they all connect. All of the houses here connect, and they all count for both pit mines. So essentially what happens is you have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 around this one, and then I think you get 7 around this one, and so you have a total of 15 houses that are working towards 2 pit mines. So each pit mine has 15 houses when normally they'd only have 8. It's absolutely insane the amount of gold that he's going to be getting through from this. So I think a normal one is maxing out at about 90 gold. You wait and see these ones. I think they'll end up at about 160, something like that, 150, 160, a region around there. And it's absolutely crazy. It is a bug, but it's not necessarily an exploit, because he needs to still take advantage of this. But you can see right now that's going to boost up very, very quickly. So behind this, we've reached the second age. We're quite late to age up as well, 607. Typically, I'll be aging up about 530, and we do see his scout here. We're dropping down all of our buildings back in our base, so this is just your standard stuff. Military school, blacksmith, and the stable. Keep in mind, blacksmith and the stable both going to be cheaper. Blacksmith 100 instead of 150. Stable only 100 instead of 150. So we're already saving 100 wood off this build order. Or rather 150, because we also have the barracks from the Dark Age. But we're already saving 150 wood. Just from the change that's most recently happened. Now we're going to move these 4 villages over to stone so that we can accelerate that second TC. Now we don't know whether he's going for a second TC, but interestingly he did add a market, and he actually trades out the gold that he's got and purchases a market. Very expensive. I didn't realize this. Why is the stone so expensive? Jeez. Is stone just naturally more expensive than the other resources? That seems very expensive to get that stone. 130, 130, and then 170. That's a lot. That's a lot of resources. I don't know if it's worth it. In fact, that kind of makes Rus insanely strong. I don't ever recall seeing that. That is weird. So his second TC comes down. A little bit unfortunate timing. So I've never seen this market opening before. So I don't know whether this is the first time he's done it, or I just haven't been paying attention. But we do look to apply some pressure down towards this section. We don't know what's going on, but we do see the TC coming up. He's got 4 archers out, which is just the perfect number. Technically, the Spahi should be able to take them out, but we realize that he's going to get the TC up no matter what. And so I think at this point in time, you know, I've lost a couple spearmen, and I figure, you know what, we'll just back out from here. I don't want to lose any more unnecessarily. He has pretty decent micro and moved a couple of those villagers away. So we confirm he's going for a second TC. And of course, when your enemy goes 2, well, you got to go 3, right? It just makes sense. So we definitely go for that third TC, and you can see now that's the second TC added in at the front of the base. Going to be protecting the deer patch here. Also gives us a pretty good access to the trees. First or second of the Spahi going to be coming out here. Now keep in mind, both of the military schools are going to be with or training Spahi, and we're going to actually use the Spahi to chase away the scout. Now we're not going to be able to kill the scout. Scout's always going to be able to get back to base without actually dying to the Spahi, but you can see we're looking for it. We're searching for it. We're just going to issue an attack move order in that direction. Scout finally coming home, and we'll check in on DeMusliM and see how he's doing. So behind this, he's looking to get upgrades in. We can see he's got horticulture coming through. He's actually dropped down a mill, a second mill rather. So he's going to be moving into cattle. So this seems pretty standard at the moment for what most Malian players are doing. They're just kind of going double TC into cow boom. It's a bit slow, I think, but I wasn't 100% sure on what he was going to be doing. A little bit sooner, I think we do actually spot a blacksmith coming down, and this I should have realized that the blacksmith was so late and that he wasn't going to be playing feudal, but I digress. And now going for the third TC, you can see we've got 100 stone in the bank. That is a key factor because we are going to be looking to grab military campus. So we just gather up 100 stone and we just keep it in there just for when we do eventually get up to that next stage. Now we start building up that mass. and just spamming out villagers. So we got the TCs rallying out to gold at the moment because we need to start thinking about our upgrades as well. But we've got 16 villagers on food. And one of the big factors that you need to be doing with this civilization, a lot of people don't realize, this is why the Twin Minaret Madras is so damn good. What you're going to be doing is as soon as the berry patches come up, you exhaust them immediately. You're going to take all of these villagers and you're going to command them onto that. Because as soon as they're finished, and if you can exhaust them, you know, in 20 seconds, then they're already respawning. It takes 120 seconds to respawn after they've been depleted. So you got to think about it, right? Like, you don't want to be doing that slowly. You want to get that done quickly. Obviously, it's a bit more walking time, but when you consider the fact that it's an extra 50% faster, then it starts making all that difference. So that's where we're going to be taking or getting a lot of our food from, and we don't actually transition to farms for quite a while. But now you can see our mass is starting to build up. We're 10 minutes into this game. We've got 3 TCs, and we've got a pretty significant mass here. We've got 7 Spahi out. We've got, you know, just a handful of Spearmen. And behind this, he's actually going to Castle. And I wasn't sure of exactly what the timings were because I didn't know whether he was going to be going cows before Castle or cows after Castle. And he actually goes for the Grand Fulani Corral and then goes for cows afterwards. And this is the part that throws me off. So I'm going to move forward here. I'm going to spot this blacksmith in the game that we're playing. And when I do this, I come up, I see the blacksmith, and immediately I pull back. I'm like, okay, a blacksmith, that's great information. What does that tell me? That tells me my enemy wants to get upgrades, and it's highly likely that they're going to be playing in the second age. I was actually going to be going for siege. I went for siege engineering, and I was going to be going for a ram, but I ran out of wood. And the reason why I ran out of wood is because I've got all these villagers here on gold. I think I took a whole bunch off from food, but I'm pretty confident I moved these guys over to wood, and then I moved them back. So yeah, you can see a whole bunch of villagers here moving over to wood. We're very, very low on wood at the moment. Need to replace our lumber camp. Things just not looking pretty over here. But we are now going to start applying a bit of pressure. He's aging up, and the cows have begun making their way out with the cattle ranch. So the stable's going to become under attack. He's got not a lot of units. I think it's the 4 archers from before and just the sofa. So realistically, not a lot of units at all. So we're going to be able to take down the stable. And I think we do apply a little bit of pressure here to these archers and find a couple of villagers here. But not a whole lot of damage gets done, just taking out that stable. We can start seeing the upgrades coming through. So he's going for archers, and this is something that he likes to do. He likes to go for a very heavy archer composition. Loves to go for like the full upgrades on the archers, get the poison arrows because you can get it in the castle age. And we got a meta out now, and now that we've seen him reach the castle age, you can see I immediately moved back to gold because we need to match that. Because my biggest fear is that if he gets castle age and he gets all of his upgrades, if he just makes donzos as well as javelin throwers, I'm stuffed in the feudal age. There's nothing I can do against that. The combo is way too strong to deal with in the feudal age. In the castle age, at least you can deal with the combo using men-at-arms and mangonels. So it's something that I've been doing. As soon as I see my Malian opponent looking to go from age 2 up to age 3, I'm straight away jumping onto that position. And you can see here, so all of the berry patches have just come up at the exact same time. So what do? We move all of our villagers. We've got 17 villagers over here right now gathering from these berries. Well, I think 16, don't we? Yeah, 16 villagers gathering from this. And we want to exhaust these as quickly as possible because not only are these gathering more quickly, it's 175 food, right? So 350 for 2, 700 food for 4. It's 700 food coming out of thin air. It's like 2 deer just spawning here right next to the town center. That's essentially what it is. And you've got to take it as soon as you can because the sooner you take it, the sooner it is going to respawn for you. We're at 13 minutes in. We're on 3 TCs. We're pumping out villagers non-stop. We're going for a really heavy cavalry composition, making spearmen as well. And look at this. We haven't even started taking our base berries yet. We've still got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 deer patches out here. Our sheep, look how much food we've got here. This is why the Twin Minaret Madras is so damn strong, because it enables you to just stay off farms. We're 13 minutes into this game and we're not even thinking about farms. Keep in mind, we've also got access to other food sources out here. We have actually started taking the berries out here. I think there were 3 deers out here, but oh, look at that. We got our first farm in. Age up now coming through. Making sure that we've got it here on our starting blacksmith. Very important to have the Mehmed Imperial Armory on that starting blacksmith. It's going to reduce your mangonel down from 3 minutes down to 2 minutes and 15 seconds. So that basically takes it from the... I think it works out from being 200 resources a second up to like 266 resources a second. So it's the equivalent of like 6.5 villages, which is pretty insane. So you really, really want to get this landmark. It is by far the best landmark in my opinion. Yeah, you know, you're not going to be able to unlock 2 extra techs, but realistically, what are those 2 techs giving you? Not a whole lot. I mean, this is pretty much useless. This one, yeah, it's nice, but I mean, past the 10th minute, it's really pretty irrelevant. Trade bags is definitely a great landmark and great technology, but you know, you're not going to be using it all the time. I mean, in post-Imperial, yeah, I would love to have this. But I mean, it's just not worth it. And then Janissary Company, I mean, we've talked about that one before. Bit of a meme. Bit of a meme. All right, well, Age 3 comes in. We start getting upgrades. So I'm just concerned about a timing push with javelin throwers. All he's doing... Oh, and let's take a look at these. So we got the pit mine here. This is at 102. This one's at 102 as well. So actually not as high as what you'd think they would be. He's got... How many do we have here? 2, 4, 6, 7. 2, 4, 6, 7. So he's got 7 around each. So I think maybe this one should be in like 1 tile closer. I don't know exactly how it works, but yeah. Anyway, look, they're actually not that good. I think just a single pit mine, it should be 90 maxed out. So you know what? I take it back. These aren't super duper crazy. They're only like this one down here is going to be much better. I think this one comes out to 120. So quite nice. But it's a bit of a passive game though. And I think this is just what sort of happens on Altai is people wall up and you just get very comfortable behind your walls. Now, I didn't wall up. I said, I'm not going to wall up. You want to raid, bring it on. And he definitely does that quite well. Throughout the game, you can see him coming in now. He's going to be drawing some attention here at the same time, hitting underneath the TCs. So we're going to have to fall back from this position. But definitely one of the mistakes I make this game, and that's something that you'll see throughout this, is my failure to wall. I think, you know, had I walled in a lot of in these situations, and you know, we'll see them as the game goes on, the game would look a lot different. So if you're playing Altai and you're thinking, okay, where do I want to wall? Just a great start. Just wall off your areas around the edge of your base. So just here, just a stone wall right here, a stone wall right here, probably less than 150 stone. Bam, all walled off. Enemy's not getting through here. By the same token, up here, wall this off. Why are you walling these off? Well, there's a big stone here. That's 3 keeps that you've got access to the trading post as well, if you want that. And of course, you've got the large gold vein, which is really important. And hey, that's foreshadowing for what happens in the future. But we'll right on board with DeMusliM. Just check in with him. You can see the military. I mean, it's not that impressive. In fact, villager count 8132. I'm on 9048. So my villager count's not even that good. I've been maxing out villagers as well. So I don't know how he's keeping up so well. Wait, is my town center's making a scout? Ooh. Why is my town center making a scout? I didn't even realize that. You know, I saw the scout on this rally point. I just thought it must have been this scout over here that got rallied over towards this position. What the heck? Okay, I guess I wasn't always making villagers. I guess I was making scouts sometime. But at this point now, we're sort of... So the play from here is to actually go into Imperial Age and play for elite lancers or elite knights. That's essentially what we want to do here. And then we want to mass up bombards. Great bombards. And you see me dropping down the Raxes here. So the idea is I just want to get out a whole bunch of men-at-arms. Because my barracks are so cheap, I feel like I can just drop these bad boys down. I don't even care. And by him seeing this just helps me even more because now all of a sudden he's thinking, oh, what's he up to here? He's going for a whole bunch of men-at-arms. So when these men-at-arms come out, basically I'm just doing this to stay alive. And now realizing that I'm going to Imperial, I quickly realized, well, hold on a minute. I need something to defend myself because as soon as I hit Imperial Age, he's going to look to try and push in. And I need to make sure that I stay alive. So I need to drop a keep here. So these villagers are coming out over towards this stone outcropping. We're going to gather up some stone. But I think I make a bit of a mistake by not deleting this house or this lumber camp because there's a really good spot for a keep here. And unfortunately, I don't have the ability to do it. But we're right on board with DeMusliM as he's dropping up his keep as well. And you can see the resources he's got in the bank at the moment. He's just absolutely stacking resources like crazy. He's on 91 vills. I'm on 98. So pretty even. But I guess one of the things to remember is that you can't see military schools or the MIA in the village account. And that's creating free units. So this is like the military school right now is like 3 vills each. So that's 9 vills. And then the MIA is like another 6.5 vills. So just here, you're talking about 15.5 vills. They're basically like relics. That's probably the best way to think because they don't count towards population and they are producing units for free. So that's the best way to think about it. But I guess by the same token, you know, he's got a lot of things going for him. He's got pit mines. We've got double pit mine here, another pit mine down here. He's working towards this pit mine as well. I love it. And obviously the Grand Fulani Council, which is just pumping out resources. So, I mean, at this point, I think his economy is probably going to be quite a bit better than mine. yeah, we can see he's miles ahead in pretty much every aspect, but that doesn't always necessarily mean he's going to be in a better position. Now, I will provide the caveat, or provide you a bit of insight. I do lose this game in the end. I will spoil it here for you guys. But I do think this game was winnable. And I'll show you exactly how that was. So DeMusliM now going to be pushing in. This is where I realized well and truly that I needed a keep. I've got 1,400 stone in the bank, and I'm trying to work out where to put it down. I want to put it down right here, but I realize it's too close at the front, so this is the only spot I've got. Now my army's on top. Mangonel's sitting out the front. It's going to get picked off. Like, I'm just playing this so terribly. I want to just fall back. I want to fall back to my keep. Mangonel goes down. Second Mangonel's also going to go down. He weasels his way around over towards this the right side. Beautiful mass up the back here. Unfortunately, we don't get any shots onto it. But now that you see the Spahi flank coming through, he doesn't actually have a lot of Donzo. So our Spahi going to do really well. We've also got the meta, which is providing that extra attack speed. We're not going to be using the Fortitude. Fortitude's not the best. Keep does get up, so we do stay alive. And behind this, we did indeed get to Imperial Age. But we managed to clean up this fight relatively well, because we did make it to the Imperial Age and we didn't die. So those things are really important, you know, not dying when you make it to the Imperial Age. But obviously you can see he's still got a fair mass of units back here, but he is down on population. He's 137, I'm 156, I'm 112 villagers, he's 100, so we're up by a little bit of villagers. And I say, you know what, let's just keep pushing. We might as well just keep pushing. The keep comes up, he's got 21 vills on this, so this is a beautifully timed keep, and this is going to keep him safe for a little bit longer. Now, unfortunately, I don't have any trebs or anything ready to begin sieging this down, but what I do have coming in hot, it's going to be your big boy. There he is. There he is. The Great Bombard. It's going to take 3 minutes. And so with it taking 3 minutes, I say, well, we're going to need a siege workshop. We're going to need one out sooner. So we drop down the siege workshop. And now that the whole mindset is, okay, well, we want to start sieging this so that we can begin pushing. And now I actually get attacked here, and I saw his army moving out towards this direction. So I know he's going out there. And with me knowing that he's going out in that direction, I make a huge error right here. And so the error is that I'm running out of gold. And I've only got 400 left. I've got a whole bunch of villagers that are out here. And these guys all want to go and collect gold because we need gold right now. We've got our elite upgrade coming through for our lancers, and we've got it in a stable that's got 2 knights ahead of it. That's all right. But essentially, he moves out over towards his position. He doesn't actually know what's up in this area. All he knows is that, you know, this is uncharted territory, and there could potentially be enemies up here. Now, my scout got picked up here. I know he's over here. And yet, still despite that, I send all of these villagers out over here. So this is where you can see, like, I think, like, decision-making starts to falter when, not only when you're against good people, but when you're under pressure, these sorts of things. So I say, all right, well, we're going to buy enough to drop a keep, and we're going to drop a keep. And as soon as I drop the keep, I spot his units. I'm like, fuck! And anyway, we have to run back. I have to bring all my army out here. I don't even know why my army was out here. Realistically, like, this siege workshop had already produced a Great Bombard. The Great Bombard could have very easily come up, taken out this keep, secured this gold vein, and continued pushing on towards the base of the enemy. Now, granted, you're gonna witness a massacre shortly, but granted, he could have responded very easily with culverins. Look how much gold he's got in the bank. He could very easily just go double culverin, and then all of a sudden he's fine because culverin just absolutely destroy the Great Bombards, unless they've got all of their upgrades, like chemistry, like siege works, and of course, like where is it? This one here, greased axles, which he's getting, and he's also getting culverins before he even sees it. So we go for a keep. It looks a little bit doubtful. I'm sure you guys know exactly what happens here. And unfortunately, we just get mauled completely. So didn't have a mass or a decent mass. Like, I say we didn't have a decent mass. Like, had these units all been over here in the same control group as these ones, then we probably cleaned this up easily. We'd probably lose all of our villagers as well, but at least we would be able to clean this up and hold on. So, look, I think with this build order, with this game, I probably could have won from this position. I think I was in a pretty solid spot. But I think in the end, DeMuslim's just a much better player than me, and I probably would have lost anyway, but it was a really good game. I hope you guys have enjoyed this look at the strategy. I think this has got a lot of potential. I think once really good players like Beastie or Salami get their hands on a strategy like this, I mean, it's going to be impressive. You're going to see fire everywhere, guns blazing. Anyway, make sure you check out DeMuslim. I'll leave a link in the description to where you can catch his Twitch, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching.